Hey, Darksiders. So let's talk about episode number 2 of Watchmen. I'm not going to wait till I get home. I was going to wait till I got home and got on the set and make the video all beautified for you. But I just got back from jujitsu and I'm tired and hurting. And plus, I felt like, man, you know what? While I'm thinking about it, let's just hop on and talk about it in the car. So there's a whole bunch going on in this episode. So what did you think about this episode? Man, they were kind of all over the place, but we found out a lot of information, but it certainly wasn't a linear episode. And for me, I don't know about you, what did you think? But for me, it was kind of hard to track what was going on. But nonetheless, I enjoyed the episode because we got a lot more information. We got some backstory filled in. We understand more about some of the people that we've been seeing in episode 1. And were some other tidbits of information that we found out, like what in the world was going on with the raining squid and all of that. So we found out a little bit more about that. That's one thing I'll say about this show as well, too. You really have to pay attention to all that's going on here, and not just the dialogue, but some of the other things that you see visually, as they have like these little pieces of information that might be tucked in a newspaper clipping or a magazine title or something like that. So the show is really detailed, man, in its execution. So you really got to pay attention to what's going on. But it's really interesting to me, like all that we found out. So we finally found out like how she got the children that she got, which I was surprised about, given kind of the tenor of the atmosphere there, kind of the racially charged things that are going on, so to speak, or the past of the racially charged things that were going on. So I was like, how'd she get those white babies? But now I know that those kids were the kids of her killed partner. So that's how she got those kids. It was interesting also to find out more about the guy in the wheelchair, right? Who is apparently her grandfather, Will. But I don't know, man. Listen, all right, listen. I got a theory about Will. I think that Will might be, go with me here, because some people are going to be like, man, Al, you're tripping. Like, that's crazy. I think that Will is either a clone, which I think is very possible. And I say that because of like some of the weird stuff that we saw him do. And I'm sure you guys picked it up. Like, did you guys notice how he just like straight up put his hand in the pot and picked out the hot boiling egg and just started eating it? Like, you're not going to let that cool off, brother? I mean, just bam, started eating it. And also, when he drank whatever that was she gave him, coffee, I don't know what it was she gave him, but that came straight off of the boiling plate. And he drank that like it was nobody's business. No blowing on it, no letting it cool down. He just straight drank it. So, of course, there's something up with him. I think that he might be a clone. I really do. And I think he might, those pills he has might actually modify him some way to make him able to do some of the things that he did, because I really do believe that he was a guy that strung up the chief of police. I think that he did it, because I don't think he's bound to that wheelchair either. I don't think he's bound to that wheelchair. I think all that's an act, and I would not be surprised if Ozymandias or Adrian Veidt has something to do with it. I mean, we know at this point from this episode that the guy is creating clones, and the guy is probably nuts. Now, it's an interesting theory. Let me know what you think about this if you haven't read it. That Screen Rant wrote an article, and they think that Adrian in this series is actually trying to make clones of Dr. Manhattan. But I'm not necessarily sure that I think that's the case. I think that he's making clones just because he's partway nuts. And I do think that he has some ideas of what he's going to do with them. But is he trying to recreate Dr. Manhattan? What do you guys think about that? I don't necessarily see that. I don't feel like we've gotten enough information to go that route. Even though we did see the play and we do have Dr. Manhattan in that play, I'm not sure what he's cooking up, but I'm not sure that's what we are going to see. But it was interesting to find out more about him. We saw a lot of Easter eggs in this episode too that I thought were pretty cool as well. If that, I'm just looking at something right here, and if that's not a cat, but I don't know what it is, but it's pretty darn big. Anyway, let's get back to it. So I'm not sure what's going on with him. And it's also interesting, like I said, about the Easter eggs that we saw. So it was cool to see Angela using Night Owl's glasses as she was searching the captain's house off of the recommendation that Will gave that, something's up with this dude. Like, this dude's got some skeletons in his closet. He's hiding something. And then she finds a Klansman's outfit in his closet. And at this point, we don't know whether or not that's something that's been planted or not. So there's a whole bunch going on this show. And I find this show, and let me know how you feel about this, it's like super rewarding. I really love it, but at the same time, because of the non-linear nature of how it's shot, at times it's frustrating, and at times it's a little bit confusing. Like, I definitely have to watch it twice to really pick up all that's going on in the broader story. And if I want to pick up the nuances, I've got to watch it 3 times like I did in episode 1. But I did like episode 2 because I felt like it filled in a lot of stuff. Like we now have a lot more information about kind of what's going on in the backstory as well. So Watchmen is pretty interesting, and I really like the way that they are producing and telling the story outside of what I just mentioned with the the frustration a bit from the nonlinear storytelling, because it's such a complex story. So it makes it that much harder to follow, right, when you're not going in a linear sequence, because the story in and of itself is complex. But now it's really cool because like everybody's suspect to me now, and even Angela, like I'm not sure what's going on with anybody. I don't even know who's freaking human, really. I don't know. There is stuff going on with folks that's really kind of up in the air, and I like that. I like the way that they're producing that, especially given the fact that this is a superhero show that feels so different. It feels so unique with anything else really we've had on TV. And I would say comparing that even to The Boys, like Watchmen is something that if they can pull off the next 6 episodes, because I think this is an 8-episode season, could do really well. And I definitely hope, if they haven't already, if they have, let me know, the HBO picks up a second season of this. And I like the fact, man, people are complaining, but I like the fact that they are expanding on the source material. And I in no way feel like they disrespected the source material at all. I really don't. I'm reading through, like I said, the Watchmen comic again, just to make sure that I've got all of my facts straight and all of my kind of foundational knowledge of characters straight. But I like what they've done so far. I like how they've expanded the story. I'm really, really digging this show. And I will tell you that, man, HBO, they might have a hit on their fans, and some folks were on Twitter talking about this could be the next replacement to Game of Thrones, but they've also got some big stuff coming up on tap as well. If you guys are excited about Wheel of Time, the commercials for Wheel of Time look fantastic, I'll tell you that too. And we got The Witcher coming out. I think the unofficial drop date for The Witcher is on the 19th or something like that. Like the date had leaked, and then Netflix came on to say that wasn't confirmed, and then we found out at the last Comic-Con that, yeah, that's the date The Witcher's coming out. So that looks fantastic. So I'm really excited, man, about a lot that we have going on TV. But Watchmen was a bit of a surprise for me. Now, Cornbread, you said that too, that you were surprised how good it was. You were sleeping on it, then you watched it, and you were like, man, yeah, this is pretty good. So I say all that to say, people, if you are not watching Watchmen, make sure that you check it out. It's really good on HBO. You got to fork over that $14 or something like that, but it's really worth your $14. It's a really good show. That said, I'm trying to solidify a date to cover Watchmen, kind of like what we did with Into the Badlands. Even though Into the Badlands aired on a Sunday, we didn't cover it until Thursday. So I'm trying to figure out what date to best cover it. I'm thinking maybe on a Tuesday, or maybe even a Thursday if I have time. You guys know that Thursday is kind of tight for me. That's why we stopped the live streams on that date. But I want to pick like a solidified date to cover it. So anyway, if you guys have any ideas of what that date might be, you guys can put that in the comments below. But having said all of that, you guys, if you're not watching Watchmen, you should be. It's really good on HBO. Make sure that you check that out. Guys, thank you so much as always for watching. If you are new here and you like this Uncut Al video, then make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Also, thank you to all of the new subscribers. We were having like a little mini jump, a mini subscriber boom. Thank you guys so much for everybody who has joined and who is new. The community is awesome here, and I don't know what to say, man. I'm always flattered when people join the community, because again, there's so many other channels out there that are doing the same thing. So I love you guys so much for joining that. And let me close with saying this. Let me answer the question about zombie movies. Somebody asked me, and I get a lot of questions about zombie movies and how come I don't cover a lot of zombie stuff. I don't know if I shared this before, but I have a hard time with zombie movies. Like, I have a hard time seeing people eat people. I feel like I shared that with you guys. It is disturbing, man. Like, you see somebody bite into somebody's chest and you just see them pull up all their innards and just stringing out their mouth. That messes with my head. So that's why I don't cover a lot of zombie movies and things like that, even though I thought Zombieland was fantastic. I really did enjoy it. Anyway, thank you guys so much. This is Dark Side Movie Reviews. You are Darksiders. You're awesome. Another car review for you, baby. I'll see you guys on the next video. And we are live streaming again Sunday, 8 o'clock Standard Time, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I was on there on Sunday, but nobody showed up, man. Oh, now it's all right. Actually, I didn't promote it. You guys didn't know what was going on, but we're back on Sunday, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, PM, with the live stream. Make sure you're checking the community tab because I have some questions about what we should cover on the live stream coming up. All right, see ya. Peace.